Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna be making some brownie brittle. I used to get this all the time at Costco and it's so good. So I wanna try to make some homemade ones and see if it's any good. So let's begin. First off, we need to get some of our dry ingredients together. We don't have too much for our dry ingredients, so it should go pretty quick. We need a half a cup of flour. We need a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of baking powder. And then what we're gonna do is just whisk that up. It's not very much. Okay, now let's start with our wet ingredients. So first off, I have my whisk on my KitchenAid and I have 2 egg whites and we're gonna beat these until they're getting foamy. So let's begin with that. Okay, that is starting to get foamy, so it is time to add in everything else. So for this, we need a cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of espresso powder. I love the smell of espresso powder. And then we need 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. And then finally 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, and we're just gonna get that all mixed together. Scrape down the sides of the bowl to make sure everything is getting well incorporated in. It's starting to smell so good. I can really smell the espresso and the cocoa powder. Awesome, do one more scrape down. Okay, that is looking awesome. Now it is time to take our dry ingredients and slowly start adding it in. But once it gets completely incorporated in, we're just gonna stop mixing it all together. Okay, and there we have it. So now what we're gonna do is take this off. Awesome, and you're gonna want this batter to look pretty close to cake batter. Scraping down the sides. And then the last thing we're gonna add before spreading it out is some mini chocolate chips. So you want roughly a half a cup of those. Kind of eyeballing it. Okay, and we're just gonna fold that in. Sure they get everywhere. Okay, and now you're going to take your cookie sheet and have some parchment paper in the bottom, and we're just going to lay this all out. My cat's over in the corner going crazy trying to get a lizard that's outside. They love to lizard hunt. And then you get scared by it. Are they teasing you? They like to get right in front of him, in front of the door, and do push-ups, and it drives him crazy. Okay, and then finally, we're just going to try to spread this out really thin. You kind of want to hold down the parchment paper so it doesn't move around on you, but you want this quite thin. And then also, before you do this part, make sure your oven is preheated to 325 degrees. You want it to be about as even all the way through so it doesn't cook at different times. Because it's a brittle, we want it to get super hard and crunchy. So I just have an offset spatula, but if you don't have one of those, just use a knife. Kind of just spread it all out. And then finally, I wanted to add a little bit of color to it because it's just very brown. So I got some rainbow sprinkles. I'm gonna sprinkle on about half of it, just to add some fun color. Liven everything up. So it'll kind of be like those Cosmo brownies, but with sprinkles and not those like coated chocolate chips. Okay, awesome. Now we're gonna throw this in the oven for 20 minutes. And after 20 minutes, we're gonna take it out and we're gonna actually slice it into the pieces that we want it to break in. And then we're gonna put it in for about 5 to 8 more minutes until it is completely done. So I'll see you in the 20 minutes. Okay, it has been 20 minutes, so it is time to take the brittle out of the oven and get it cut to the shapes we want. So we're gonna take this out. Oh, it bubbled up some. I'm sure that will go down once it's done. Oh, this is looking so good. So we got the half that's rainbow and then the half that's just regular. So we're gonna set that down. Okay, this is looking fantastic and it smells amazing in here. It smells so chocolatey. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut these into different shapes. You can kind of do whatever shapes you want. Probably the most common are triangles and squares. So I'm just going to go in. It's kind of wanting to stick to my knife, so I'm gonna let it cool down a tiny bit before I go in with this to try to avoid all this. Okay, and I'm gonna oil the knife a little bit too, so that hopefully it will cut better. You can make them all different sizes. It's probably not gonna be quite as pretty as the ones you get in the store, but it should still be delicious. Got some squares, I got some triangles, got some odd shapes. Now, what we're gonna do is put this back in the oven and let it finish cooking. So it'll probably need about 5 to 8 more minutes. So we're gonna plop this back in there. And then after it comes out of the oven, it's gonna need to cool completely and be very cool to the touch. So I will come back and see you when that is done. I'm guessing it's gonna be in there for 8 more minutes, so we'll see. Okay, these are all done cooling, so it is time to break them apart and give them a taste test. So they should just, oh yeah, break apart where the cuts were originally made. There we go. Awesome, and they should be crispy all the way through. You don't want them to be gooey on the inside. So if they're still a little gooey, you should pop them back in the oven for a little bit. This did take the full 8 minutes to bake after I re-put them in. So you wanna make sure that they're crispy all the way through. This is the main thing you wanna look for. So these are what we're working with. I got my sprinkle one and my regular one. I love the sprinkles on this. It just makes it a little more fun. It won't add any flavor, but it adds a lot of visual interest. So I'm loving that. And it is time to give them a taste test. This is so good. It has that crispiness that you definitely want in this brittle, hence the brittle of it, but it has an excellent flavor. I would say it even has a stronger chocolate flavor than the ones that you would buy in a store. Plus, I love the espresso flavor, and it adds a really nice richness to the whole thing. I love coffee anyway, so if you don't want to have that flavor come through, either add less or don't add it at all, but I really enjoy how that kind of elevates the whole thing. Yep, these are so good. I'm going to enjoy eating these. I just want to make sure you keep them in an airtight container so the humidity doesn't get to it and make it not crispy. So I'm very happy with how these turned out. If you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.